Welcome home, where we provide information, inspiration, and motivator after motivator after motivator here on America's Next. I have Brantley Turner here with me today. How you doing, Brantley?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I want to say hello to everybody who might be tuning in right now. Rose Q Hensley is already in the building. She says hello. We're saying hello back to you. Ladies and gentlemen, get someone else into this conversation with us. This gentleman, Brantley Turner, has lived quite a journey. And we're going to discover that journey today. I want to say good evening. And without further ado, we're going to get right into it. Brantley, where are you from?
I'm originally from Memphis, Tennessee. I'm currently residing in Kansas City, Missouri. But I basically moved out here due to a job. A federal employee of that at the Fort Leavenworth, Kansas, as a senior executive assistant to the director. Um, since it is Black History Month, I would like to say that I am the first Black deaf male to ever grace this position. So it's a lot to say about that position. So that's where I'm from. That's where I work. That's where I reside, and that's where I play.
You said that you're the first deaf African American to be in the professional capacity that you work in today,
And the youngest, yes,
and the youngest.
yes,
Congratulations. Congratulations.
yes.
You're already somebody that can provide inspiration to others. There's a lot of young people out here who face adversity, and you're no different. You're
Right.
you're a positive example of an adult doing productive work in our general society, and now you're here to share your story. Can you talk to us
Right.
a little bit about your childhood?
Yes. From child, it is a blessing. I'm gonna tell you, God is great. I was adopted at 8 months, and thank God for my parents, Roger and Elaine Turner. They were happy to, you know, to adopt a son. And I will tell you, I've been through quite a journey, but at a young age, my mom realized I was deaf when I was watching TV, and she would call my name so many times, and that's how she knew that I was deaf. And she even fought tooth and nail to doctors to uh, to basically put me down for mental. They were trying to put me down to mental retardation,
Wow.
and but she was just saying, no, no, my son is deaf. He can't hear nothing. And
Mm,
and I was like, wow, my mom, she was going to sue the doctor, and she was on the practice. I mean, they were scared of my mother.
wow.
So because of my mother is the reason why I am able to have a conversation with you today.
Wow. I want to take a moment to respect and appreciate all the mothers out there who fight the good fight for their children,
Including my father.
including yes, including your father. I find it very interesting that your mother, she said no. We're not going to label him the way that you want to label him, and we're not going to steer his life the way you want to steer his life. I know what's wrong with my son, whether I know the challenge that he needs to overcome, and we're gonna address it that way. We're not going to allow you to steer his narrative. I think that's
Hmm.
very powerful.
Right, definitely, most
Now,
definitely.
how
Um,
did you deal with being hard of hearing in elementary school? What was that like for you?
I was labeled that I couldn't read at first grade. And my mother told my first grade teacher that I can read. I was reading on a third grade level at a first grade, coming out of a school called Memphis Oral School for the Deaf. Now, what elementary schools and Memphis Oral School for the Deaf don't do, the difference between them two is that they teach me phonics, and then in the elementary school, they don't teach you phonics. They try to get you in the curriculum. They try to drill that into you.
Mm-hmm.
And so my mother told the teacher, and the teacher just said, no, he cannot read. When I tell you, they put me in front of my first grade classmates, and I read the entire book in front of the classmates. And when I tell you, the first grade teacher was like, "What? What?" Just shocked, and she even apologized to my mom. Now, there's another incident that's a positive experience. There's a negative experience. The negative experience is when I was in first grade. That same teacher was talking to me, and I didn't hear what she says. So I said, "Excuse me, what did you say?" Now, mind you, I have to project my voice to be able to understand what I'm saying, so the people can know what I'm saying clearly.
Okay.
She took it as a threat, and I
Okay.
have got sent to the principal's office for saying, "Excuse me, what did you say?"
Hmm.
And so my father came into that principal's office and told them, "You all need to get a grip."
Right. It sounds like when you were younger, our society was still in a place where they weren't really ready to deal with a young person who had a hearing issue. It sounds like they wanted you to be able to get along like everybody else, even
And
even when that's not the way that you were going to have to do it. They were going to have to find better ways to do their job.
well, true, but you got to understand throughout my elementary school, middle school year, and even high school year, teachers would work with me, love it. Some would even wear the auditory microphone just so I could be able to hear them in the classroom because they
Okay.
didn't like it wear it around their neck. They didn't like to have anything on them. But
Mhm.
they failed to realize the purpose of me hearing, you know.
Right.
And I would pick on my teachers. I have been talked bad at. I mean, I've had some challenges with bad teachers, but along the way, I've had some great teachers along the way. So
Okay.
I had some negative and positive experience as well.
Sure. What were some of the things that worked for you? What were some of the things that teachers did for you that really helped you along the way, so that we can learn how to work with young people in class today?
What they did for the good ones, they will allow me to be me. They will allow me to be goofy, as I've always been goofy and silly.
Mhm.
Um, but what they have always expressed to me how much they care about me. They did. Now, that lets me know that's who I need to be around. That's the teacher I need to be around with. Um, there have been moments where there are other teachers just could not help at all. Just simply just don't want to budge to deal with someone that is solely not like them. If you're
Right.
not hearing impaired, you don't know the shoes that they go through. So therefore, you're going to have this narrow mind. You can care for them, but you're going to have that narrow mindset about, okay, he's a deaf kid. He can learn like everybody else. But at that time frame, I think, when the no child left behind law came in place,
Yes.
that's when everybody starts to say, okay, we really gotta
Right.
comply.
Right. Right.
and,
Right.
and and that's when I start to realize, okay, now they want to start caring, but after all those years, you really didn't care about me.
Right.
And I'm very grateful because my parents were a part of that journey as well, because there was they call it special ed education, but more so, and it's called an IEP, where they were very involved with my
Okay.
education. But
Mhm.
I feel like there have been some downfalls along the way because they did not know what the schools really had in store for the students and for myself.
Exactly. And see, that's why I mentioned preparedness. It sounds like they were not totally prepared to give you the best possible experience in school, but you were the person that they used as a case study to know how to deal with deaf students or hard of hearing students going forward. So you
Mhm.
were a pioneer in that sense. And
Yeah.
I want to know what were your conversations like with your mother and father during these years? What did they say to you that really kept you going during these times?
My mom always say this to me, and I would share it with everyone. You have to do some things you don't want to do to get where you want to go.
That's right.
And I tell that to a lot of my peers. And there have been times where I just felt uncomfortable, uncertain of doing things that I did not want to be in. And now I realize that anything that I go through life, challenges, I have to really understand it's for my good.
Hmm.
In some way, in some form or fashion, it's going to be for my good. So if it's bad, I can, and that's where the laughing to death comes in place. You know, so I went to job court
Okay.
after high school, um, and I didn't do so well. I went to college first at
Hmm.
Sullivan University, flunked that school, and
Hmm.
then after that, I went to job court. And a
Hmm.
lot of people in job court never had a college experience. So I've already had a college experience. I'm in job court trying to get a trade.
Right.
And I got two trades at that. I went to Memphis Job Court, which is Dr. Benjamin L. Hook Job Court Center. And I also went to St. Louis Job Court.
Okay.
And so I picked up trade on that. But I dealt with a lot of people calling me names, calling me deafy, calling me Bluetooth. They called me a whole bunch of stuff.
Did you did you ever think to yourself, I'm not going to um, go to school with other deaf people. I'm not going to be in this box where all of the other deaf people are. Brantley, I'm going to live my life like a regular person. I'm going to go to where everyone else goes, and I'm just going to figure life out. Was that you?
Mm. No, that was my mom and my father. They were the
Okay.
ones that wanted me to be in the public school system.
Hmm.
Because I didn't at one point want to be in some type of deaf school where everybody looked like me. And I see why I wouldn't want to go to a hearing impaired school or a
Hmm.
deaf school because I know I would be limited. I would be closing my network. I would be closing my network as well because I would be so in my comfort zone if I
Hmm.
go to a school of that. Not saying that those schools that deals with hearing impaired, and because I've been to one,
Right.
but it's just that it's like a safe haven, and if I can't go through life throughout my years of living and
Hmm.
be safe. The
Right.
world is not safe. So, given to, about you asked that question in regarding to about public schools, no, and about being a hearing impaired school. I wanted to be in a hearing impaired school, but I just felt like the communication barriers for me, just for me. I don't want nobody to feel bad about it, but for me, the communication barrier is just difficult for someone that is hard of hearing, and there is a communication barrier between them and I can never get it, if that makes
Right.
sense.
Yeah, it
Because
makes
I've
sense.
been in the public schools for so long, I understand what people are saying.
You started reading lips.
I read lips very well.
And while you were at it, you started to embrace the fact that you were deaf or hard of hearing, and you just began to fill that role.
I feel
Um,
the role.
yeah,
Not
talk
even
about.
know that I have a role to play in.
Mm-hmm.
I just stepped right in and did the job. But I just I just want to I never want to use my disability as a crutch because I don't want people to say, "Oh, Brantley, he's just being selective hearing. He can't hear nothing." I say, "I'm deaf as hell. I'm gonna be
Right,
deaf as hell all my days of living." I mean, God blessed me to be deaf. You know what I'm saying?
right,
Like that's my right to be selective hearing. And in the years ago, I used to say, "No, I'm not selective hearing. I'm not." But now I'm owning to it because I feel like that's my choice. That's my responsibility.
right.
Um, whether and listen, I'm gonna give you a story on the selective hearing hashtag selective hearing. I like that. um, the reason why one of my coworkers was being mean and nasty to me. I'm at my job. This is currently happened 2 years ago.
Mhm.
She was just talking to me, being rude or whatever. And I just, you know what, Lord, I don't want to turn off my hearing aid, but I just took off my hearing aid, took it off, set it on the table, continue my work. I tell you, she was red in the face. I
Hold
was,
on, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. Ladies and gentlemen, what Brantley is telling us is it's okay to laugh right now. This woman
yes,
was telling him off, and he
yes,
decided to use selective hearing. He said he took off his hearing aid.
yes.
Let me tell you, on this Friday evening, that's funny. Drop a laugh face emoji in the chat right now if
Yes.
that was funny. You know, this man, he out here in the general public turning his hearing aid off. Go ahead, man.
Yeah, turning your hearing aid off. Use your disability to your advantage. That's all I'm saying. Because a lot of people say that you can't hear, you can't do this. We can joke around him. He's not gonna laugh. He's not gonna get it. But guess what? I got a huge joke for y'all. Like there have been moments where they have said a lot of jokes, and I'm like, I miss it. I missed the train, so I ain't gonna worry about it. But I do hate the fact that a lot of my friends they do make jokes, and I want to be a part of it, and I didn't hear it. But it's
Right,
already embarrassing enough to ask them, what did you just say again?
right.
Say that again. I didn't
Mhm.
hear you. And I'm like, nah, Brantley, it's over. The joke is over. We can't, it's not funny anymore. I was like,
The joke is
okay,
over.
okay. I guess I'll pay attention next time. I relist. Okay, damn. Okay, dang.
He said, "I get you next time."
Yeah,
Now, as your people began to know you a little bit, I love how you took that lemon and you made lemonade out of it. You know,
yeah,
and it became a way for you to still fraternize and be a member of the community. And
yeah.
you just hard of hearing. Sometimes selective hearing. Sometimes when you talking that jibber jabber, I just ain't heard you. I like that about you.
I got another one. I was in job court
Okay.
and I just got a cochlear implant. Just got it.
Okay.
And they just started looking at it like, what is that in your head? What is that? I said, that's my cochlear implant because they don't understand King English. So if you
Mhm.
understand what I mean,
Right.
because they don't understand King English, they didn't want to say cochlear implant because it's a challenge when you
Right.
say that word. I understand it. I understand it. So they just called me Bluetooth. I said,
Right.
oh, Bluetooth. I said,
Right.
okay, okay. So there's one thing that you don't have. I got global Wi-Fi. Okay, what do you got? You
Right.
know. So I tell people I got global Wi-Fi. What do you have?
Right.
That spit it back on them to make like, dang, he got global Wi-Fi. Is you real? They got Wi-Fi in his hearing aid.
Right.
Oh, wait, that'd be cool. I can get on my phone all the time. Wow. I said, hey, mind
You
your
know
business.
what? I see you as a champion in this light right here. I see you as
Right.
a champion. You took your situation and you wore it proudly, and you eventually excelled. You know. Now, can you talk to me about like what sorts of ways did you begin to express yourself? What did you get involved with as far as activities and programs in high school?
In high school, I really didn't do a lot of activities. Um, I most of my activities were in church growing up. I did play church plays. I did, I directed a choir. I
You
did.
directed the choir?
Yes, I sang in the
How?
choir.
How?
Yeah, yeah. At Longview Heights 7 Day Adventist Church, I did direct the choir. Matter of fact, I was directing the choir at the age of 4.
Well, can you kind of educate us a little bit? Because I'm seeing you as a doer. Um, you figured out how to direct the choir. How did you figure out how did you learn about the choir? Who taught you the way that the church works?
Okay.
And how did you get into directing?
So when I was in church, when every time the children choir sings, Miss Judy Farmer, she was one of the singers that my dad sings with in the group, and
Okay.
she was one of the children's choir director at the time. And she, for somewhat, pulled me down from the choir stand and had me direct with her while she's directing the choir. She was training me how to direct the choir, and I
Mhm.
didn't even know what I was doing. I'm thinking like, you don't want me to sing because I'm off key or whatnot. I don't know,
Mhm.
but she was teaching me how to direct, and so from that moment forward, I was able to direct the praise team choir by myself, and then from that forward, and because that skill was in me, even in college, I did direct for a short period of time a gospel choir in college in Tennessee Tech University.
Okay.
But that was only for a small limit of time. And I was able to direct it in front of people, 100 people.
Right. Wow.
So, yeah.
And we're talking about Southern church atmosphere, Southern gospel music. It's powerful music.
Yeah.
Were you,
And
let me ask you something. Were you able to feel the music?
I was wearing a hearing aid at the time, not the cochlear, so I can hear music. I can still hear music. I hear the drum. I can get the rhythm. For how that works for me to be direct, it's just that I just have to know the placement of where the keys change, where they going to the next part. I had to know that. I learned my placement. And matter of fact, I would listen to the music like about 10 to 20 times out of the day, each day, just to know the placement. It's not hard. You got guidance. I had guidance. I had the pianist telling me where to go next. I had somebody in the choir that's helping me to go where to go next. And if somebody get tired out, I would try to let's end the choir. Let's end the song. We could do that. There's a lot of memories behind directing the choir for me, and it's fun. And I even write songs too. I sing off key for the comedy purposes. And so that's part of my nature.
Now, when you talk about comedy, how did you get into comedy, and what was your first comedic experience?
Talking to my friend, saying wild things, wild off-wall things. I was thinking I was saying some off-wall things that didn't make sense, but when people get it, they got it, and I didn't understand what I was saying myself. Right. So with that being said, and that's how I was able to start the comedian. When somebody tell me their situation, their story, I will come up with a narrative or a skit in my mind and how I'm going to act that out. Usually, I will give a response to someone else's story from 15 years ago and give it to today, because it helps to not have anybody to feel some type of way. Oh, Brantley's talking about me. No, baby. We're talking about the content. That's what we're talking about. So I created Laughing to Death based on the fact that what I say to you, your stomach's going to hurt and you're going to feel like you're dying, pretty much. Right. Now, like I said, Laughing to Death was created by my soror, and she was the one that said it, and I have to give credit where it's due.
Did you say it was created by your soror?
She's in Phi Beta.
Okay.
I'm Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated as well.
Oh, okay. All right. So your soror gave you the name, and you adopted the name.
I adopted it, and I still adopted it to this day.
Wow. All right. Talk to us about your college experience. What was that like?
Wow. Oh, my goodness. My college experience was amazing. If I think about it, I've developed a lot of relationships throughout my years. Mm-hmm. And I'm so grateful upon the people that I meet and the conversation I have. Anytime you have a conversation with me, you're going to at some point going to laugh. At some point. I tell people, Brantley, you make somebody laugh one day at a time. Make somebody smile one day at a time. Mm-hmm. And I did just that. In college, I had some challenges where, with the professors, I didn't understand what's going on. I was able to handle the academic part. That was the easy part. I had accommodations for someone to take my notes. That was no problem. I had no issues with that. I kind of find it funny how I never had very bad issues in college, but I had struggles when I was in elementary, middle, and high school. I don't understand that. That's weird. But yeah. I've never had any issues in college other than just being able to talk to my friends, be a part of a fraternity. And matter of fact, I'm also a part of Alpha Kappa Psi Professional Business Fraternity as well.
Okay.
So that's two fraternities. So I'm very active in that. What else did I do? I did so much.
I mean, well, before we get into even more of your accomplishments, I want to talk about, your transition into college. How did you deal with the hurdles that everybody faces from high school to college? Did you have anyone helping you along?
Okay, this is what
Yeah,
happened.
how did you manage that process?
Okay, what happened is I went after high school. After I graduated, I never had a summer break, so I went to Sullivan University to go to culinary art school. And I went there for 6 months, but guess what? I partied too hard and I did all the crazy stuff, the wrong thing, made an F, didn't do right, right?
Hmm.
Then after that, I started working. Then my dad said, either you will start, before I started work, he said, either you will start working or go to college. You're not going to stay in my house to eat my food or not pay
Right.
no bills. That's what she said. I
Hmm.
said, I'm going to start working. So I started working, and there was the opportunity to become in Job Corps. I
Hmm.
got in Job Corps, been there for 2 years. Now, after Job Corps, I landed a full scholarship at 23 to go to Tennessee Tech University.
Congratulations.
And I was there for about 2.5 years. And then I decided to transfer to University of Memphis. And that's the transition, if I answer your question.
Yeah,
Um, that's the transition there.
absolutely.
Um, in both schools, I never had a problem. I
Hmm.
just needed to be closer to home. And I got closer to home, and I was able to do a lot more things at the University of Memphis too as well.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's get some hearts and lights in the building for Brantley's successful transition through all those phases of life into the college environment. I think that is phenomenal. And I want to give you a few seconds before we go into the break to speak to young people out there who might have a disadvantage or a challenge. Some of them are hearing impaired, and they may feel that the odds are stacked against them. Take a few seconds and provide some encouragement to young people out there today. Go ahead.
You asking me a question?
Yeah. Provide some encouragement to young people out there today.
I apologize.
Yeah. I'm like, he
Okay.
got selective hearing on me now.
Okay, I had to make sure I wasn't trying to be selective. I'm like, I just lost my place somewhere. Okay, anyway, we
No, no,
got
no.
it.
Go ahead.
I remember I won the award for the Beat the Odds Awards at Memphis.
Mm.
That was back in 2009 because I got it hanging right in this wall. Um, Back in 2009, they asked me a question, said, Brantley, how do you beat the odds? And I said, I get even.
Hmm.
And I want to say that to everyone, to get even in all aspects. Don't worry about what people say about you. Don't worry about what you can't do. Try to find a way, find a resource that can do it for you. And don't and if you have to use your disability to get people to understand where you stand, do that. Now, as far as for those that have been in foster care, I was in foster care from 7 months as a baby. So I did not have very much of experience of knowing what a foster care system looks like. All I know, I was cared for. But what I do know is that I understand the challenges when those brothers and sisters are growing up in a foster care system and they're not being well cared for or not being able to do the things that they want to do in their own liking and in their own way. I'm gonna tell you, do it if you have to do it. Do it if people don't want you to become who you are. I mean, let me tell you something. With greatness comes with great responsibility. You have a responsibility to be great.
Absolutely. A responsibility to be great. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a dynamic man right here. I love the fact that he came to our stage, and we're not done. We're going to be right back with more from Brantley Turner. America's Next Motivator, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 5 p.m. Eastern, Tuesday and Thursday at 10 a.m. Eastern. America's Next Motivator, hosted by me, Cedric Riley, and sponsored by the Pride Empowerment Network. And we're back. Brantley, how you
Yeah,
feeling out there?
I'm feeling great. I'm very refreshed now.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now let's jump right back into it. After college, and you wrap that up. What did you do next after college?
I was working at a hotel for Marriott full time as a night auditor, and basically I was able to work at night. I love the schedule. Work. I get to sleep during the day, work at night. It was beautiful. Um, the thing about it is that after my internship, after during college and after college, I was working for the federal government. The first I worked at the Department of Veterans Affairs as a program support assistant, and I worked at Fort Bragg, the Department of Defense, as a office assistant as well. Now, currently, I'm a senior executive assistant to the director for the Army Management Staff College. So I got a call after I graduated, a couple of months after, and I thought it was a scam. I'm like, what is this? And they said, we would like to interview you for this position. And I said, okay, I'll take it. You never know. Guys probably sends you a job that just doesn't come with the formality.
Right.
So I took it and I answered all the questions. And by that Friday, by the end of that week, I got the job. And I had to go move to Fort Leavenworth. At that moment, before I moved to Fort Leavenworth, I felt like, oh my God, I'm going out of the country. Oh my goodness, I moved myself to a whole nother country. Like when you go to some place that you've never been and you never hear a lot about us, it's just kind of like, wow, did I just go somewhere that is not foreign to me? It was very foreign to me.
Right.
So from that's how I was able to, transfer transition out to work. I was working, getting my coin, making sure I was saving. I mean, there was a lot going on there that time.
Did you feel at that moment like you've arrived in life, like you got on the other side of the hill, so to speak?
No, I don't
Okay.
feel like I arrived. I think that I have not arrived as a black man. I have not. I still have not arrived as a deaf individual too, because I'm still juggling and struggling with those that are having implicit biases towards me. So that lets you know that it's still happening to this day. If you know what I mean, if you catch
Right.
my drift, you get
Right. Right.
it.
So you still deal with the adversity of people looking at you some sort of way, whether it be in passing at the grocery store or in public or sometimes wherever. You still deal with it, and you obviously have to find ways to cope and deal with that. But
Mhm.
what are some of the things that you do to keep yourself positive?
I think about the fact that my check. I have to think about my check, I,
Right.
where the money resides. I have to think about it.
That's right.
And when I think about my check, that's the only way that keeps me sane, keeps me from cussing people out. It's keeping me from not going crazy. But what in the meantime, I'm searching other employment.
Mhm.
But what I can tell you, what I'm doing is still remain positive. I still give that customer service. I'm still staying focused. I'm still trying to make sure that we are great as an organization.
Right. Right.
So I'm dealing with challenges.
Mhm.
And with that being said, that's all I can say because I
Yeah,
ain't trying to get
sure.
fired.
Sure. Now, what is the end goal for you? When would you feel like you've arrived? What goals are you setting to get to the next milestone in your life?
um, where I feel arrived is my financial increase.
Hmm.
That's where I feel I have arrived. I don't. I feel I arrive when I'm treated better. I'm starting to feel like when I'm doing laughing to death right now,
Hmm.
I feel like I'm treated better because I treat myself better.
Right.
And it's getting to a point where I'm in a mind space thinking about, am I going to, how can I say it? Am I going to how can I say it?
Do you feel better? Do you feel better when you are working in your purpose?
There you go. There
Hmm.
you go. And but you got to understand, I'm just getting started at the Laughing to Death LLC, so I have to keep working.
That's right.
So
Oh yeah.
that's just the way it is. But do I feel successful? Yes, I do feel successful. I
That's
feel
right.
like I've done some things that probably the average 30-year-old man that is black, that is hearing impaired, that don't have any kids, I probably am doing successful. Not to say I'm better than or
Right.
better than the next person, but I'm just saying I still don't see enough of us in a statistics standpoint
Hmm.
that I wish a lot of my brothers and sisters will be in that same realm, if that makes sense.
It makes a lot of sense. Would you be open to mentoring young ladies and young men
Yes,
going forward?
yes, most definitely. Most definitely. And that's one of the things that I did in Job Corps as well.
Okay. When you I like that shirt too. I see you're getting into merchandise.
I just got started. Uh, but right now I'm gonna be starting in hopefully they can do it on they're up for pre-orders. They're up
Okay.
for pre-orders. So with that being said, what I have to do is just let people DM me, tell me their size, and I let them know when they will arrive. But
Right.
I do have a certain price for certain size as well.
Okay. Now, okay, so you sell merchandise. I also want to unpack what you mean when you say I'm just getting started. What's next? Are you doing videos on social media? Are you doing documentaries? Have you thought about, preparing your life story in any way?
What I mean by getting started is as far as my LLC is brand new. I just started in November,
Okay.
and so there are some other kinks that are in the works. I got the equipment and all of that. That what I'm talking about getting started in that aspect. Now,
Mhm.
as far as my videos, my comedy, those things are coming. It's coming
Mhm.
every day. There are videos being saved in the backlog. I mean, I have to edit those, so it takes time. And some of the videos that I'm doing are coming off from the dome, and I put it in the social media atmosphere.
Right.
So that's what I mean by getting started, and that's what I'm doing now. As far as my education is concerned, I'm still working on my master's. Look, I am booked to the capacity. Okay,
Right.
like I'm doing
Busy.
everything to keep myself busy and keep myself being sane because I feel like if I'm not being treated in one aspect, I'm going to find another way, and I have always been that way.
Mhm.
I have been able to leave jobs when they're not treating me right and they're not paying me right. Then I've always left and always never failed.
That's
They
right.
give me a call or a text message saying, Brantley, I wish you were here.
Mhm.
I wish you had my back. There you go. I wish you had my back. But hey, you got to suffer with the people that you don't like. But hey, that's not my business. But yours, have it your way. But I could tell people to mind your business, to find your edges. We'll be just fine.
Absolutely. Now, I see that you see the importance of entrepreneurship. You know,
Yes.
you see the importance of entrepreneurship. I want to say that I'm appreciating your willingness to step out there on your idea of what you think is going to make you happy. Now, with the laughing to death, do you ever see yourself doing movies or stand up or any type of show?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Okay.
That it's in the works. I'm writing it down. It's in the works. It's just a matter of getting the right people in place.
Okay.
It's just that's all that it matters. Getting the right people in place, and I have to just wait on the Lord to make that move because God is in the business of doing all of that. Now, oftentimes I don't even beg people to share my stuff. I
Mhm.
don't, and when if I feel some type of way about begging to share my life, show like my stuff, don't have time.
Mhm.
If you like it, you will like it. If you want to share it, you will share it. So if my content's not great enough for the person, I know somebody it's going to be great of it. I want to give you another story if I can tell you that. Can I do that?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay, there was a story where I did a post. I can't remember what post it was, and somebody sent me a message about they were about to kill themselves. And when they came across my video, they laughed so hard that they didn't even want to attempt to kill themselves. They were willing to live another day. And so I feel like it is my purpose, it is my duty to make sure that whatever I say and whatever I do, whether it's positive or negative, whether it's a cuss word in it, it's no cuss word in it, I'm saving somebody's lives out in these streets. So I just want to make sure that everybody get what I'm coming from.
Yeah.
It's not about the fame. I just want to be relevant. That's it.
Well, you're extremely relevant. And I think it is very powerful when you talk about how someone lets you know that one of your videos, stopped them from taking their own life.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody might come across you today, right here in this hour on America's Next episode, America's Next Motivator on this episode, and say, I was having a challenging day, and here this gentleman is. He's deaf. He's hard of hearing, rather. He's had some challenges in his life, but look how he's grown. Look how he's taken life in stride. He started his own business. He's confident. He's going somewhere in his life. You know what? I can too. There is power in that.
Yeah.
And I want everybody out there to be encouraged that no matter what odds may be stacked against you, you can definitely beat those odds. And you'll be surprised the people that come along to support you when you start to face your odds and to overcome them.
Right.
So, I think that's huge. So you do videos on Instagram, is that correct?
Yes, The Real Brant.
The Real Brant on Instagram?
TheRealBrant. The Real Brant.
Okay.
And one of my videos became viral recently last year. K. Michelle, who used to be on Love and Hip Hop, was able to share some of the videos that I did. If you want to see it, it's in the highlights. It got over 127,000 views.
Wow.
Yes. And I mean, it's amazing that a celebrity thought that it was so funny enough and pure comedy. That was, in her words, pure comedy for her. So that was amazing. And when K. Michelle did that, I was like, okay, thank you, girl. And I'd be trying to talk to her. I'm like, girl, you want to do a skit? I want to do something with somebody like K. Michelle, anybody. I'm open to working with other celebrities. I've had some celebrities contacted me, and they waited on me to make the move. So I'm just waiting.
When K. Michelle reposted your video, how did that make you feel?
I felt like I thought that my content was nothing. But when she reposted it, I felt like I have a place in this. I mean, it's meant to be. And so she has liked a couple of my videos before she even reposted it. But it was just the fact that it was just shocking that she reposted it in that type of atmosphere where millions of people, 6 million, can see it.
Right.
And so, I was kind of like, wow, 120 some views, that's crazy.
Right.
And over 20 to 30,000 comments. I'm like, what in the world? You just never know. Right. I just wish that, some of them could have came over to my Instagram so they can get that same laugh, that same vibe. But I understand how that is. I understand the industry, the business behind that.
Well, what I also would add to that is, just continue to be consistent with your comedy, with your videos, with your skits, because you never know when somebody's going to click on your page, they're going to laugh out loud, and then they're going to send you a direct message.
Yep.
It can happen in a blink of an eye.
Mm-hmm. Even Monique, the one that did Pressures, I went to her comedy show. She kept saying my name on the stand-up. Like, she kept saying my name. I'm like, you keep saying my name. What's going on? Right. Then I remember I wanted to talk to her, and she yelled her name. I'm coming to you, Brantley. I'm coming to you. I said, okay, okay. And she had her niece to grab me by the arm and had me by the door. And she told me, Brantley, I've been watching you. You need to keep doing what you're doing. I said, girl,
Right,
you should put me on, share my face out if you need to.
right, right, right.
But because of what she's going through, this is the reason why she didn't do it. But because of what she's going through, she don't want me to be associated with that. And I
Mhm.
understand it. And I understand it. But that was the great piece of advice coming from a celebrity, Oscar nominated, Grammy nominated. I mean, a legendary, if that. Tell me
Mhm.
she's been watching me. I know there's a lot of celebrities out there that's watching me, and they're not really giving me credit where it's due. And I understand it. I say, I see you. You got my stuff. I see you, but
Right.
that's cool. I do it
Well, I
too.
think I think that what you're doing is so different. I think that it's so unique that you have something all on your own. And there's a lot of character that goes into building your brand almost by yourself. I say almost by yourself because there will be people who come along and help you out and assist, but there's something about you building that brand on your own. And how are you feeling about the process of building your brand, wearing so many different hats at one time?
I'm proud of myself. I am so proud of my damn self.
That's
Because
right.
let me tell you something. I thought I had to hire people to do it. But
Mhm.
it's long-winded of a process. But you gotta have the money to do it. But I'm glad that I was able to use the funds to do what I have to do to get this stuff up and running. But now, I mean, I'm proud of myself. That's all I can say. I'm happy,
Right.
and I'm doing a damn thing.
That's right.
And it's just, I wish I had a comedy behind it, but it's just that there have been many people that doubted me, that I took it in so deeply that now I'm doing this. I'm like, I'm working, I'm doing this. I got my own place, got my own car, paying all these bills. I mean, just last year, Cedric, I had a heart failure, and I'm up and running doing all of this. That's nothing but God. That's all I have
That's
to
right.
say. But
That's
God.
right. What are your and I'm thankful. I'm thankful that you're alive today. Ladies and
Yes,
gentlemen,
yes.
drop a number one in the chat. You proud of Brantley today, that he's still alive, that he's still achieving, and that he's never given up on himself. Drop a number one in the chat for that. What are your conversations like with your parents these days?
My parents.
Yeah.
Oh man. I mean, my dad and my mom, we talk. I call my mom every other day or every day. She's more concerned about me. I know that. I talk to them. We FaceTime more than I have in the past 2 years. Um, Now I see, because of this pandemic, it's important to really have a conversation with all your family members and even my friends. I find myself reaching out to my friends a lot because
Mhm.
you never know when those days are gonna happen to you or anyone.
That's right.
So my conversations with my parents are very private, very
Mhm.
important. They fuss at me, they still do. They do chastise me. I love it because they my parents.
That's right.
They want the best for you. Um, I'm glad. I'm glad.
Do you know sign language?
No, I do
Okay.
not.
Okay.
I have been asked to sign and I turned it down.
Hmm.
And people give me a lot of grief for that because they say, Brantley, why are you not signing? Why are you not signing? Because I don't want to. It's just like, do you want to talk Spanish? No. Speak Spanish?
Right.
No.
Right.
Okay, then it's just same way with sign language. It's another language to pick up, and I don't want to
Right.
do it.
Right. I support you in that 100%. I would like for you to provide a message of encouragement to other people out there who may be hard of hearing and who may come across this episode today into the future. Take some time out and speak to the people out there who might also be hard of hearing.
Okay. Um, Step outside of your comfort zone, ladies and
Mhm.
gentlemen. Be able to do things that beyond your wildest dreams. People are going to challenge you in every which way. Always rely on your support system. If you don't have a support system, inbox me. I'll be one of them. Make sure you are keeping instilling in your mind that hey, I got this. I can do this. And most importantly, know that there is a God that will bring you through in every which way. Um, if you don't encourage yourself in the meantime, that's another thing. Encourage yourself because when people challenge you, you have to say, I can do this. Forget them what they said. Maybe I'm deaf, but I can do this. I can do this. I listen, you could be a singer, you could be a writer, you could be a doctor, you could be a dancer. I mean, you can do it. Not the Obama slogan, but hey, you can do it. I want you all to understand that. And so if somebody's trying to comfort you, you tell them this: mind your business and find your edges, ladies and gentlemen. And that is my encouragement speech for them.
uh, who are your top 3 or 4 entertainers that you just would love to get next to or work with in the future?
My first one would be, of course, K Michelle, because that's my favorite. She's always been my favorite, and we both from Memphis. Number two would be it would be Monique, because something about Monique, given the historical content that she's going through right now, I'd have to have that around my spirit and around my space. And the
Mhm.
last one I would like to work with. Oh boy, the last one is difficult because I got so many. Boy, I would like to work with Nick Cannon because I really want to get his logic, because even though he's had some challenges this last year, I really want to pick his brain because that's who I want to really work with. I want to work with everybody. Let's put it that way. Everybody's not excluded. Anybody that want to work with me, hey, we work it together
Right.
because we have a purpose to attend to.
That's right. If you could describe your legacy that you want to leave here on earth, what is the legacy that you want to leave?
Wow, nobody ever asked me that question. Wow, that's something to think about.
Go ahead and think about it.
The legacy that I want to leave behind. I want to leave the blueprint of what I did for the people behind me. Everything that I do, I think about the people behind me. The black man that's behind me, the black man that is deaf behind me, the black woman that's behind me, the black woman behind me. I'm doing everything, even the gay man behind me. I'm doing it for everybody. Um, I'm leaving a blueprint of what I did. And I hope the blueprint get told in a book or in a movie or in some type of documented video. I want to be able to show and tell the blueprint what I did, because not everybody knows what I did.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to your legacy. This is going to
Definitely.
always be a place where you can stop by, share your updates, your skits. When you come up with skits and you want to put them out there, drop them off, and I'll play them in my episodes. I just got a few questions for you as we round third base here. And this has been a great discussion. The first, what is survival to you?
Survival. Survival. I have to go back to my faith, God. If you don't have any type of faith to your higher power or to God, you are not able to do anything. Like, you have to believe there is a higher power than you to survive in all the things you go through the negative challenges, to the positive challenges, anything. And I think what is survival to me is God is my survival.
Got you.
And a lot of things that I went through, I didn't do it all by myself.
Mhm.
I
That's
can't
right.
take that credit. So
That's right.
that's God. That's all God.
We got 15 seconds left. What is
Okay.
success to you?
Success is greatness. Success is doing things on your own, making sure you are uh, beyond beyond your wildest dream. You do it, you
Okay.
obtain it, and you got it.
What is greatness to you?
Greatness. Greatness is me. I'm
That's
greatness.
right. That's right. I want to let you know, Brantley, that I've listened to your story today. I've been very, very, very impressed with your decisions, with your outlook on life, and your willingness to be positive. I'm giving you your respect today. Ladies and gentlemen, put your crown emojis into the chat. Put your crown emojis into the chat. We're giving you your crown today while you can still receive it. We got crowns coming into the building for you. We got crowns coming into the building for you. And we are letting you know, letting the world know that you, Brantley Turner, you are America's next motivator.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Thanks for stopping by today, all right?
All right. Thank you for having me.
All right. Talk to you later.
Bye-bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. Each and every episode of America's Next Motivator is going to have something here for you. All you've got to do is stop by and pick it up.